Madhura Gavnikar, Principal Engineer at Robin, and I've been here for the last 5 years, and it's been an exciting journey so far. For today's demo, I will demonstrate how we'll deploy a Postgres Helm chart using Robin storage. Then we'll move to creating snapshots of PostgreSDB. We'll back up that snapshot to the cloud, and then port it to another cloud. So without much further ado, let me start the demo. So I have created an OpenShift cluster on AWS. Let me show you that. So this is my AWS cluster wherein I have 3 master nodes and 3 worker nodes. I have also deployed Robin on these clusters. And let me show you that too. Let's move to showing storage classes, right? So by default, AWS on OpenShift comes with GP2 storage class, which creates AWS EBS volumes. And then we see here Robin. So this is the storage class which we'll use today so that we can avail the advanced data management capabilities that Robin provides. So before we start, let's create a Helm chart. For the purpose of the demo, today we're going to use Postgres Helm chart. So this is my Postgres Helm chart, and you can see I'm using IBM Postgres chart today. And very important thing to note here is I'm using Robin storage class. So we're using persistent storage class as a Robin. If you don't use this, you won't be able to use data management capabilities. And rest all things here are basically the rest of the settings that are needed to make Helm chart work on OpenShift cluster. So let me show you what's happening, right? Helm list. So this is the Helm chart that was called as movies that I have deployed. Let's see what happens to PVC. So Robin has created this PVC for you that's called as data movies PostgreSQL 0, and it's using the storage class Robin. Let's get pods. Okay, so now our pod is up and running. As we had used Robin storage class, let's go ahead and see if Robin has been able to detect this Helm chart. Voila. So here it is. So Robin has detected, as you had used Robin Robin storage class, it was able to detect the Helm chart, and it has added to its database cluster. So here on, we can use advanced capabilities that Robin provides to like snapshots and backup, and here so on and so forth. So let's enter into the database. So we have logged into the database. Let's create some tables and records so that we can use this. So before that, let's connect to PostgreSDB. Let's create some database. So we'll enter some data into the cluster, and then let's see how it goes further than that. So I've created a database. It's called as testdb. I've entered into the database, and let's create a table. So my table will be called as movies. Now let's insert some data into the table. I've inserted 9 records. These are like movies from the IMDb. I've selected some random 9 movies, and I have added them to our database. Let's make sure. So select start from movies, and we see here that we have 9 records in our database. So at this point, when we have 9 records, let's create a snapshot from that database. So we see Robin app list, and we see that there is an app called as movies, and let's create a snapshot out of that. To create a snapshot, all we have to do is tell Robin create snapshot, name of the app, whatever the snapshot name we have to give. For the convenience, I've given snap 9 movies because we have added 9 records in the database. And let's go ahead. So what this will do is Robin snapshot just does not create the snapshot of your data, but it also creates the snapshot of your configurations and metadata. When I say configurations, I'm talking about config maps and secrets and PVCs. Also, in terms of metadata, when I say it means labels, it takes care of your pods, services, and stateful sets, daemon sets, everything. So this snapshot is a whole package in itself. So let's see, Robin. Snapshot list, and here we have our snapshot. Now, what all can we do with this snapshot? This snapshot can be used to create clones, to restore your application and create backups and so forth and so on. So just to create some excitement, just let's delete one record. So I'm deleting this June 9 movie, which is a horror film from your database. And let's see how many records I have in my database now. So as I deleted one movie, I have 8 records. But keep in mind that when I created the snapshot of the application, we had total 9 records in the database. At this point, this snapshot can be used to restore and go back to the state wherein we had 9 records, or we can continue with the 8 records from here. So just to give you a idea that this snapshot can also be used to create clone, and your clone app will have 9 records as it was there when we had taken the snapshot. So basically, snapshot is like a checkpoint for us here. So further to that, let's create a backup of this snapshot. To create backup, at first we need a repository, like a bucket on an S3 or GCS. So we have to add that repository to Robin first. So I've already added one repository that is called as PostgreSQL DB, and I have used S3 bucket here. Name of my bucket is Robin PostgreSQL, and the path is demo1. So here, when you create a repository, we basically need access keys and secret keys as it is in S3 bucket. So that's how you let Robin know to use that repository. Now, what do we do next? Next, we have to attach this repository to the movie. So what we do is Robin app attach repo, movies, and PostgreSQL DB. So basically, we are telling Robin that use this bucket to store my snapshots or other app-related items. So let's go ahead and create a backup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a backup of the snapshot. So let me give you Robin snapshot list, and we'll create a snapshot. We will create a backup. So Robin backup create, name of the application is movies. This is my backup name and the snapshot ID associated that we want to use. So this will create a backup of our snapshot and then post the segments of the data that are needed onto a cloud on S3 bucket. I have used S3 bucket, but we could very well use here GCS bucket that's provided by GCP. Again, just to reiterate, when I'm saying we are creating a backup, it's not just that we are copying the data, But in here, we are also copying the configuration files, configuration and other aspects that are needed to recreate an app on another platform. So with this backup, we can port apps across multiple cloud environments. This allows you to avoid infrastructure locking and achieve better cost economics. Let's do Robin backup list. Okay, this is my backup ID. So what we're going to do with this backup ID, we are going to use this to create exact same app as we had created on this cluster, on our target cluster. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to use another cluster as GCP cluster, just to show you that we can move data across clouds without any vendor locking. So this is my GCP cluster. Let me show you what all I have here. So this has, again, 6 nodes. 3 of them are master and 3 of them are worker. I have also installed Robin on this. So you can see all the nodes that are part of a cluster are also detected by Robin and created a highly available environment. So Robin has its own control plane, which will take care of all the, along with data management capabilities, also it will take care that you have your control plane intact. So again, another thing that we need here is a repository. So what I have done is I have added the same S3 bucket that I had used on AWS cluster over here. So here same PostgreSQL, AWS S3 bucket, and the credentials that are needed to get access of the cluster. Okay, so now if we have to move this backup that gets created on AWS to GCP, we need to export the token. So I say Robin backup export, and this will generate a token for me. Now this is the token that I need to use on my target cluster. Our target cluster here is GCP. So I have to import this token here. So what will happen here is, I think I did not copy the token properly. No. Okay. There you go. So I have, so that's a good way for us to know that as the token was invalid, we were not able to go ahead with it. So as I copied the right token, it recognized it, and then now we can go ahead and see what has happened. So let's do Robin backup list, and you can see that the same token, same backup ID has been, it is able to fetch it from the S3 bucket, and the state is imported. So we are ready, and we can go, at this point, we can go ahead and create a new cluster or new app with the same data and configurations as we had on AWS cluster. So let's go and create it. Robin, create movies, and I have to give my backup ID here, and let's just wait. So what Robin does here is that it will create an app, generate PVCs, pull the data from the PVCs, and as same data as you had on your source cluster, and then it will create pods and other services and stateful sets or whatsoever we had on the target cluster, sorry, on your source cluster on this target cluster. While this is happening, let's just go back, let's just go and see the PVCs, right? So kubectl, yes, PVC. Okay, so Robin has already created this PVC for you, and then it's pulling possibly the data. And let's see what's happening. Our backup state, it will create pods, and and it will go ahead from there on. So again, so we know that what happens here is also it will create all the configuration files, snapshots, and everything, right? Let's see, get pod. Okay, our pod is up and running. So it will attach that pod and this PVC, and we will be able to go ahead from there. Okay, so it's Robin has always in a finalized state and it's completed. So what does that mean? Let's do Robin app list. Wow, we have your app in a ready state. So Movies Backup is the app that we have created based on the cluster. So we have to be very sure now, right, that whatever we had added data there is present here. So let's do kubectl get pods. Let's exec into this pod. Okay. Let's now connect to the database. It has used the same secret as it had used before. So I was able to log in with the same password as I had used before. And if you guys remember, I had created a database called as testdb. Let's see if I can connect to it. Yes, it is upgraded to testdb. And now the moment of truth. Okay, here we have the 9 records that we had created in our source cluster on AWS are valid here. If you guys remember, this is the AWS cluster where we had created 9 records and taken a snapshot. And then we had deleted another record and we had 8 rows. And here we can see that from that snapshot had 9 records. So we have here a cluster with 9 records. Awesome, isn't it? So just to summarize what we saw, that all we needed was a global repository, a bucket like S3 or GCS, which is accessible to all the cloud infrastructures. We could recreate exact same application as we had on the source cluster, and we were able to port it to our target cluster just by importing application level snapshots or backups. And all we did this was using just one single command, that's Robin app create from backup and giving the backup ID. So Robin automatically takes care of mapping your configs then to your data from source cluster to your destination cluster. So this is pretty much what I had for us, our demo today. Thank you very much.